had a little electrical fire.
The one that does us in for real this time.
Now I can just pull that hose up through and get my new hose in. Thank you for your support.
You know, let's get on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, last week we splashed our boat after 3 months on the hard, fiberglassing all of our bilges. So we had broken tabs free during Hurricane Nicole, the second hurricane we had been in this boat in less than a year. And we brought her up to St. Augustine to repair her. So we got back in the water, excited, ready to go. Prior to pulling out of the water, we were basically ready to go until we found out that we had these bilge issues. Pretty much everything worked on the boat that we needed to in order to go sailing. It's a boat. There's always something broken, but all the major stuff was repaired, replaced, or new and ready to go. So we hauled out, we glassed our keel in, we splashed, we figured we'll take like a week, maybe two, to put the boat back together, and off we go.
First of all, we'd like to give a shout out to our new patrons, Sharon and Lamar Smith and James Carr. Cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, they've joined the League of Mariners. And if you're interested in having more involvement in our travels and more say in where we go, voting on destinations and insider information, ad-free releases, all that kind of stuff, patreon.com/forloveofwind. Check it out. So back to the drama. Back to the so
it's like a soap opera around here.
Back to the train wreck.
Yeah. It's a more apt description.
There you go, more apt description. So for the last year, we've had the same shore power cords. We splashed. We came over here to this marina. We used those same shore power cords we've always been using. Plugged them in. Everything was working fine. And then a day later, we're in the back bedroom, and there's a really acidic, burning plastic smell. And then there's a loud buzz, and all the power goes off. And our shore power plug on the outside of the boat basically caught fire. It wasn't like flames and stuff like that, but the inside of it completely melted up. The never-ending saga of flow. We splash our boat, and then after just a couple of days of little stuff, had a little electrical fire. Fire, smoke. There was no flames, but so we have two shore power inlets over here. Two 30-amp shore power inlets, and they're separated. Insert nerd content here. So here's a very simplified version of our AC power system. We have two 30-amp shore power inlets that feed two separate buses. One for our outlets, microwave, refrigerator, and water heater. One for our air conditioners and water maker, and it has a couple of blank spaces as well. The generator only feeds bus A, but there is a bus bridge that we can activate, which turns off the bus B shore power and bridges A and B together so that when we're on the generator, all the power runs to both sides. So, as you can see, last night, this one burnt itself up pretty good. These prongs are fairly solid. That clearly is wrong, and you can see inside there it's fried. Went to the Sailors Exchange and got a new to us, a used new shore power cord. We got that going, and then they had on these new 30-amp plugs. So today I'm going to reinstall a new 30-amp plug here, and then hopefully we'll restore the boat back to its former powerful self. turned off all the breakers on the inside, but now it doesn't matter because the shore power is completely different. Undo this screw, which holds the cable. Undo this screw, which holds the cap. There we go. Horrible, but there's some blackening in there. I'll probably take it back to here. Let me open up this lazarette. I'm not going to open this box, but try this again. Mesha let me get all the way down with all of that.
I'm sorry, I was so enthralled with you putting the wires in.
Oh,
I didn't even notice.
I'm sure it was very interesting. All right, so we went to the local sailor exchange and got a used shore power cord you can see in much better shape. Whoop. This one even has a little LED to tell you when it's powered. This was actually only like $15 more expensive than buying new ends for our old 30 amp shore power cord. So this one's in better shape. All right, so the new shore power cord we got is actually thicker than this, which is a surprise to me because they're both supposed to be 30 amp, but there's the damage, as you can see. So the ends on this one are definitely no good. We may keep the cable, we'll see. As it is, we're about to plug in and go. And then you should be able to thread that cap onto it.
Okay. It doesn't turn. It doesn't
That's
want to
okay.
turn. Is that okay? Okay.
Can't come off now.
All looks good.
Okay, hang on. I'm about to flip I flipped the shore power breaker, now I'm flipping the mains. All right, everything powered back up perfectly.
Looks great.
Even our battery charger came back on.
Yay.
So we put out that fire. When we splashed the boat, we didn't notice until like a day later, I had accidentally hit the end of the bilge pump wire harness with the grinder. We went down to that same local sailor exchange and found a nice used bilge pump, same one, very cheap, thankfully. I thought, well, I need to put that in. So pulled out the old one, flexed the hose around to plug the new one in, and the bilge pump hose, the ejection hose that goes out of the boat, shattered, just crumbled in my hand. It was so brittle. Thankfully, the boat's not taking on any water, and the weather was just fine.
Right.
And as soon as Flo hit the water, this invisible signal was sent out to Mother Nature. Hey, Flo's back in the water. Bring on the hurricanes. After Ian and Nicole, Idalia is small potatoes. So
At least for us, it did make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane.
oh
So
boy,
only now.
some of these gusts really lean the boat over. I was trying to film a cup of water for you guys to show how much we're leaning, and for some reason, every time I put the camera on it, it would only lean a little, and then I'd turn the camera off and immediately be like, "Wah." But
That's how it goes.
that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Oh boy, that is a lot of lean there. All the lines are holding. As long as the cleats on the dock hold, I think we're good. That cleat and that cleat. Very important cleats. Oh, there's a big one.
Of course, she heard us say that this one was easy. Now she's going to throw us some torrents at us.
So, not a lot of rain here at all. And the winds haven't been bad. I don't even know if I would call this tropical storm force, right? But we're looking at like 25 knots continuous, maybe 30. So
I think that's about right. And according to Windy, we were supposed to get between 20 and 25 with gusts up to, I think, 35 knots.
yeah,
So, and that's
we're safe. We're healthy. Mesha got the dogs out this morning on the bow, so
we're in good shape here. It could have been a lot worse, and fortunately, it sounded like I said unfortunately, and fortunately, it is not worse for us. We're doing okay.
yeah, we're on the good side of the dock too. So, you know, some people are on the side that's getting blown into the dock, and their fenders are crunching up, and I would rather be on the side of the dock trying to get blown away and all the lines holding. So.
And we don't have a boat right next to us, so we've got plenty of space.
We have plenty of space to move. So, well, the exception of
The piling next to us.
we have one piling next to us that I'm watching very, very closely, because if we break a line where that will prevent us from blowing away, but it'll also take out our solar panels. So, really don't want that to happen. But anyway,
So far, so good.
so far so good.
As you can see, when the boat rocks, we're actually tapping that piling with our solar panel, not the boat, but when it leans over, it gets it. So we need to tighten up some lines real fast.
It could have been a lot worse. We were in a slip, which was really nice.
We weren't in the center of it. This is our first one to not have the eye go over us. That was nice.
So, in perfect flow fashion, just before the hurricane, and I went to move the bilge pump, and I don't know, maybe it's just old hose, maybe it had a little epoxy on it, but it broke pretty badly. So we have to replace our bilge hose. That actually goes from behind here. This is our nav station. So the bilge pump hose exits the hull behind here, goes down behind our AC here, underneath the hot water heater here, and down into the bilge there. So I have to take apart the nav station and pull the hose off of the back of the through hull. It's above the water line, so it's not that big a deal. And then somehow snake the old hose out and the new hose in so that we have new hose. So first step, take apart the nav station. There's the through hull right there. I just need to take that hose clamp off and pull that hose off. That's it. As you can see, this panel that we had to pull up on the floor got all kinds of grinding dust in it, even though this was a sealed panel. So we're going to clean this up first. And then this is our bilge pump hose. It goes into the grid right here, runs along the grid, and then comes out right down there underneath. So it goes along the grid here. It comes in, curves down through the grid, and then just goes down to the bottom of the bilge. There's no bottom to the grid there. So all we're gonna do is rip it out real fast. There we go. You can see the part that I broke. I broke off about that much hose. So, and this was very stiff and brittle, as you can see. It breaks really easy. So it was time for that to come out anyway. So now I gotta rip it out up the top and feed the new one in. All right, so here's the new hose. So you can see, very pliable. The old hose was not. So I'm gonna try and feed this in the grid that way. And then there is access for my arm over here, and then I can turn it south. So let's start by bilge pump hose. So for some reason I can't seem to do anything without cutting myself. We make jokes about how this boat has taken blood, sweat, and tears. It's a real thing. Alright, so we got the hose run all the way down to the bilge. Oh yeah, I can hear bilge. And so now I'm gonna snake this up under here. You can. The new hose is so much more flexible. So this is where it's gonna get tricky, because we have to somehow run this hose up 4 feet. This pack of wires goes up to our nav station, and that right there is our old bilge hose. This new hose has to get run up through that pack all the way up to there in place of that old hose. So let's see if we can make that happen. So we're gonna have to do this a couple inches at a time. Pull a couple inches up at the top, scoot a couple inches at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so I got it loose. Now I have the end of the hose up to this point. What we're gonna do, we have about 1 foot of extra hose. I'm gonna drill some holes here. I'm gonna drill some holes here. I'm actually gonna zip strap these two together like that, so that when I pull the old hose up, it pulls the new hose up. I'm also gonna tie a string on here so that once it's up in place, I can actually pull some wires back down. I've got some other projects going on in the nav station that you guys will learn about later. Don't go at the very end. I'm gonna go in a little. There we go. Right on through. Let's try that again. There we go. I should be able to shove the oldie ratchet strap through. Or zip strap, I guess. Yeah, zip strap, not a ratchet strap. There we go. Now, let's do the other one. Way through, right about there. There we go. Now I can just pull that hose up through and get my new hose in. Let's get some string to attach. There we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. And there it is. There. So, not bad. That's the only extra we bought. I'm happy with that. Okay. Okay. new hose is fixed.
The adventure continues.
The adventure continues. So finally, we get all of that put back together. The boat's just about ready to sail. We had our big lithium batteries that had been in the bilge. We had to remove them when we ground out the bilge. We pulled those out of storage. We put all those back in. We hooked the inverter back up. Now, put the batteries in the bilge. They won't charge. And it's not one of them. It's all four. Individually, they're all doing the exact same thing.
So we're still looking at our options, and we're trying to sort through some things and figure things out. But this might be the one that does us in for real this time. So if you guys have been following us for a while, you know that we've had our share of bad luck with Flow. So we may be having to replace these batteries, which they are relatively new and should be still under warranty from Ampere Time, which is now Lie Time. But even if they honor that and they send us 4 new batteries for free, we are still out the money to stay in the marina another 2 weeks or however long it takes to get these batteries from China, which is money that we don't have. We've pretty much expended all of our available funds, and we're barely floating right now. And if we were going to be at Anchorage and ready to set sail, that's one thing. But if we have to sit around in a marina for weeks more, however long, we don't have the funds for that. We're not really seeing how we're going to make this work.
Okay, guys, quick update on the batteries before this goes live. We reached out to the manufacturer, and apparently what has happened is they've shut themselves down. We can't get a charger on them because the BMS inside them has disconnected the cells for safety, for protection. So we have to either get a charger that has BMS activation function, or a lithium battery charger that has battery activation function, or somehow try and jumpstart the BMS inside these batteries. We are going to make a mad scramble to try and do that over the next 36 hours and see if we can get them all charged back up before we leave. As it stands, it does not look like we need to replace the batteries, just somehow jumpstart a battery. Anyway, we'll see you later.
Sorry for the late release, guys. We are trying to figure it out. It's been a rough 2 weeks. We are either going to be back on track or completely derailed in the next week. All right, that's it for this one. Wish us luck. Mesha has a blog that she writes every Wednesday. It's on our website, forloveofwind.com. She's very talented in my mind. So go check it out. The website gives that information about us and the deck hounds and the boat, and forloveofwind.com. Go check it out.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell and follow us on social media. And if you'd like to contribute in an even bigger way, join our League of Mariners on Patreon at patreon.com/forloveofwind. See you guys next week.
Bye.